Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Mortal Kombat trailer once more just to kind of break it down and to talk about different things that I think could be in the game based off of this trailer. Before we start though, I do want to say thank you guys so very much for 600 subscribers. This is huge for me and I really am happy doing the Mortal Kombat videos recently. I think that this is something I can see myself doing for a long time to come, especially since the game releases in September. There's so much content that can be made and a lot of fun that can be had doing so. I just want to say thank you guys so much for 600 subscribers, and if there's any type of Mortal Kombat video you guys want to see or just other videos, then always feel free to let me know. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the trailer. A lot of people have been speculating with this trailer due to the fact of its two-character nature. So the trailer opens up with Kang. There's several things I want to talk about. I'm kind of all over the place already, but I have a lot to say, so hopefully I remember everything. Everything's in my mind fresh. So here is Raiden. Okay, so Raiden here. Again, yesterday it was confusing because like it didn't look like Raiden. Everyone has new face models, but anyway, that is Raiden. Okay, and then here. So this is the first thing I kind of want to talk about. So this trailer, unlike the recent Mortal Kombat reveal trailers, like with Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat X, and Mortal Kombat 9, all of those focused on combat. All of them focused on showing some in-game mechanics through a cinematic trailer. This did not do that. It does to an extent, like at the end it kind of shows a Liu Kang fatality, and maybe even with the Shang Tsung gameplay stuff, those might be his brutalities, but we don't exactly know yet, right? But the main focus and like the focal point of this trailer seems to be the world, seems to be the story, and its identity, and like, you know, what makes it have its own personality over the other Mortal Kombat games, right? Whereas in the other trailers, it really was focusing on the combat. That was pretty much it, right? Along with like fatalities and mechanics within that core combat, but this does not have that same aspects to it. And shots like this, you know what I mean, of course remind me of like Mortal Kombat Deception, with Conquest mode, with Shujinko, and all of that type of stuff. And so that's interesting to keep in mind, right? Okay, so here is Kung Lao and Raiden, and again, they have this whole dynamic going on in this trailer where you always get to see a group of two fighters, and I think this is very important. Another thing here is it's showing the distance and like the planes that they are on, which again I think is also important, because I think that they are showing two things here. One, the world, right, the scenery, and the only reason I could see them doing that is because there's going to be some mode where you can explore this freely, right? And I think that Conquest mode is the #1 thing people have wanted back for years and years and years, ever since Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon. Deadly Alliance did also have a Conquest mode, however it was not the same as Deception and Armageddon. There wasn't really a free roaming aspect to it. And then we got to see a free roaming kind of aspect with Mortal Kombat Return with Mortal Kombat 11, but it was in the crypt and it was very minimal. But they could definitely build off of that for this game. But here, you get to see two characters, right? And I think that a lot of people have been speculating, even before this trailer came out, that this Mortal Kombat game would have something to do with tag teams. The last time we saw like a 2v2 kind of like tag option was in Mortal Kombat 9. And we did get to see things like assists be present in like Mortal Kombat 11's tower modes. I believe that there was some things where you could actually like call in a character temporarily to do some damage for you, and it was kind of like calling in assists and stuff like Naruto Storm or Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles. So that is something that is interesting and could be in this game, and basically it's confirmed with the cameo fighters, but we don't know exactly if that's the entire extent that the you know, multiple fighter core mechanic will go. Because this trailer, the entire trailer is focused on two characters in groups. So here is Kitana and Mileena, just like we had just saw Raiden and Kung Lao. And we do know cameo fighters are a thing that's already been confirmed and talked about extensively, but I do not think, or I don't know, I don't know if that's going to be the full extent, right? So this one is very important too, not only with what it's showing, but with what Liu Kang says. So as sworn enemies, or united as brothers. Okay, that's kind of important in this whole grand scheme of things, because so we know cameo fighters are going to be a thing. From what we know, cameo fighters are going to be very similar to assist fighters in other fighting games, like Marvel vs. Capcom. However, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, there was two versions of that game. One where you could do one-on-one, and fight with assist characters, and then 2v2 and a fight with assist characters. So the game had a tag team mechanic along with having assist characters. Now, this game is kind of presenting itself. If we did not know cameo fighters were a thing, I think that we could have easily said that this game's gonna confirm have like, you know, have tag team in it, because every single shot it has 2 characters and it's focusing on them teaming up or going against each other. But because that is even an option, like them going against each other, I think that this also can just do with the story. Maybe the story has 2 main outcomes, and the story is actually going to be like a Telltale game where you can kind of mold the story to do what you want to do. It could have like a bad ending, a good ending, betrayals or friendships, all that kind of stuff. But you also can just simplify it down to gameplay and assume that this has to do with the cameo fighters, because you have one main character who you are fighting with, and then a secondary character who you can call in to do assists with. However, the issue here with that is that, for example, in the trailer right here, they're showing Sub-Zero and Scorpion. These are both characters who will be playable characters, and they did confirm that the cameo fighters will not be playable. So unless you can have a character who's playable, like Scorpion for example, and then also can use Scorpion as a cameo fighter as well, then that doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Because this whole trailer is showing off 2 characters at a time, and if cameo is the only thing that this game has, why would they need to show 2 characters, right? Because you can't use the other character, and there's no way that Sub-Zero and Scorpion are not both playable characters, so they can't be cameo fighters, you know what I mean? Because then they wouldn't be playable. I hope I'm making sense. I think I'm all over the place, but I think you get what I mean. So that's why it kind of leads me to believe that this could have to do with just the story mode, and there's 2 main outcomes with the story mode. But for all we know, there also could just be a tag team mechanic, which I would definitely be up to. I think that would be super fun, where you could have 2 main characters that are playable that you can switch between, and then maybe have 1 to 3 assist characters on your team as well. However, that is like, then how many characters is the actual roster going to have? Because you're going to need to have 2 playable characters per match, then you're going to need to have assist characters, and maybe you have 1, maybe you have 2 or 3. But regardless, that would lead to a very big roster. Granted, I think that's good, especially for cameo fighters, because we can see a lot of fighters that we haven't seen in a very long time. For example, I'll never let this die down, but Ed Boon did reply to me one time saying that Shujinko will return eventually. But even if he returns as a cameo fighter, for example, I would be a big fan of that. Another thing here, I kind of got off this point, but here when Scorpion and Sub-Zero looking out in the distance, again, it's showing the world like very clearly. The scenery is superb, it's immaculate, it's all sculpted out, it's intentional. NetherRealm does these things with intention. They don't just throw these in for, you know, willy-nilly no reason. That they don't do that. Even with the previous cinematic trailers, if a character was running, that meant something. That meant that they were going to add a running mechanic. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So the fact that they're having such a huge emphasis on the scenery leads me to believe, or at least hope, that Conquest is back in some way, shape, or form. But maybe it's not Conquest. Maybe Conquest isn't a thing. And maybe they're showing the scenery to allude to Mortal Kombat Deception or to Armageddon, and maybe it'll have some similar gameplay mechanics or similar story elements or something. Like, I don't know, right? Who knows? But I think that there's got to be some reason that they are doing this. I don't really want to cover leaks that heavily on the channel or anything like that, but I guess it has been rumored, at least from what I've seen, that Onaga might be in this game. If that's so, then that's fucking awesome. My headphone just fell out of my ear. Anyway, I think that is awesome. That is so cool if that's actually the case. And another reason to kind of allude to this is that Tsung is in this trailer. However, he is the pre-order bonus for the game. So like, he's probably not the final big bad, because the final big bad has never been the pre-order DLC character. So I don't know, right? I personally don't think Tsung is the final big bad. That doesn't mean that Onaga has to be it. I would love if he was, but who knows what it's going to be, right? Okay, so there's Tsung. We are not going to play this part because YouTube is like not friendly with this shit, and they do not want people to see these videos if they have the gore in it. So we'll just go back to this. My dog is barking in the back, so I apologize if you guys can hear that. But here we have Liu Kang. It says you have chosen to defy peace, then you have chosen war with a god. See, this is another very interesting thing, because they're demonstrating that Liu Kang is going to take out Shang Tsung like fairly early, and it doesn't make sense. Like, so that's like another thing that's like, he cannot be the final big bad. It just wouldn't make sense because they're killing him in the main trailer. However, he also kills all of these characters in the main trailer as well. So maybe Liu Kang still has full power over the timeline. Like maybe Liu Kang can rewind it whenever he wants to. That's kind of fucking nuts though if that's the case, but regardless, let's go a little bit more through it. Every time Liu Kang shows two characters, like in my era, the choice is yours. Whether to live in quiet serenity, so you can choose the good option, or bloody strife. Every time he's showing this, he's showing two characters, so that could just allude to gameplay mechanics like I've been saying. But if there's no tag team and it's just cameo fighters, it doesn't really make sense. So this could just be solely because of the gameplay. And Mortal Kombat 11 did have this to an extent, where in Mortal Kombat 11, on some fights, you could actually change your character, so you could have Sub-Zero or Scorpion, and you could choose which character you want to fight with. That was all very interesting. However, it wasn't like a full-on choose your destiny type of thing until the actual final fight of the game. No matter what, you kind of ended in the same place, and then you can make your final decision. But we do know which one was canon, and that was of course Liu Kang's ending. But I have seen some people talking about this, and I think it is very likely that Liu Kang got what he wanted. He got his new timeline, but so did Shang Tsung. And so Shang Tsung actually here is coming from his timeline from the end of Aftermath and is trying to take over Liu Kang's timeline. But I don't know. And maybe Liu Kang still has full power over the timeline and can reset it at any time he wants, which is why in this trailer we see Shang Tsung kill everybody. And Liu Kang's kind of just like, well goddamn bro, you kind of fucked up the vibe, so like, I'm gonna just murder you now, and then maybe I can just reset the timeline again. I don't know if he has that power. If he does, cool, but who knows. Okay, but now let's talk a little bit more about the Conquest stuff. I'm kind of all over the place, I do apologize. This is just me talking about the trailer. So again, I showed this off earlier in the trailer and talked about it. It is having a huge emphasis on scenery, which of course we've seen that happen before in Mortal Kombat Deception with Conquest mode, where you can actually see the realms. You can go across the realms, talk to NPCs, do training with Boraicho and like APEP and stuff. All of that was like very, this too. This is actually a really important part too. How did I not talk about this? Here you get to see Edenia. Obviously a different realm, at least it was in Mortal Kombat Deception. But I don't know how they're gonna do it here. Like for all we know, Liu Kang's new timeline could have everything be in more of a general vicinity, but we don't really know. But it also is kind of interesting because they're all looking at the same thing. They're all looking at this like apocalypse, like eclipse looking thing here. Yeah, this little eclipse, like Kitana can see it, Scorpion and Sub-Zero can see it, and they should be in different realms. So maybe it all is one big world or one big realm, and who knows, like I don't know. Here's another thing here. It really is just showing off like scenery. Like you're telling me I can't walk around Edenia? Like I hope I can, right? And this is like just so perfect. Like this is what I want in a Mortal Kombat game is Conquest. Like many others, I think Conquest was one of the best things they've ever done, and it's also created my favorite character in Mortal Kombat ever, which is Shujinko. And I think that if they could bring that back in some capacity, it would just make a lot of people feel more connected to the Mortal Kombat world and to the characters, especially new players, because this game's going to bring in a bunch of new players for sure, right? So it would be cool for them to experience this new and improved and brand new Mortal Kombat world through Conquest mode. Again, even in shots like this, they did not need to fucking go this ham on like the scenery, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like I won't ever shut up about it, but I do genuinely think that there's a reason that they're doing this. And even if it isn't a full-on Conquest mode, I would expect there's got to be something where you can walk around a little bit and talk to NPCs. It might just be a bigger crypt, but I don't know how I feel about that, but who knows. Here is another thing, just kind of getting all my thoughts out there. So Scorpion and Sub-Zero has been a big point of contention with this trailer. For one reason being their outfits, which their outfits are very simple. I think it is probably their best designs, solely out of simplicity and like identifiability. Is that a word? Anyway, you can identify these characters very easily from these designs. Well, actually, I say that, but I thought Scorpion was Takeda when I first saw him. But I just mean like when you have the context, right, you can tell that this is Scorpion and Sub-Zero. But I just think that they have the fundamentals down, so the outfits are good. Another thing to note here is that Scorpion actually has a Lin Kuei badge here on his suit, just like Sub-Zero. In this timeline, it seems that Scorpion is actually part of the Lin Kuei, which has been explored before in the timeline. But again, just keep in mind, this is a completely new timeline. Characters' backstories do not have to be the same. They do not. There's no reason, like they do not have to be the same at all. So They could just be both Lin Kuei ninjas from the start. They could never have had a rivalry. So for all we know, this could be Bihan. This doesn't have to be Kuai Liang, you know what I mean, for Sub-Zero here. But who knows, right? Who knows? Kitana and them, again, this eclipse is really weird, or whatever this is, I don't know what you want to call it. I think it's very weird because I don't think that that is Shang Tsung's portal. Like, it's trying to make you think that it is for sure. Because you go here and you see the portal, it's a red circle just like it was in the sky. But this is not in the sky, this is on the floor. Like, this is not up there, right? And this is not as big as that eclipse was. So maybe this is hinting to the other big bad in the game? Again, potentially Onaga, I'd really hope so. Like, they're giving so many little hints here, man. Like the world and the conquest hints kind of like to a huge exploration of the world and the realms. A big bad that isn't Shang Tsung. Like, who do people want back? They want Onaga back. Like, I like Shao Kahn, I like, you know, Goro or Kintaro or any of those characters. I like them all, of course. Quan Chi, you know, Shang Tsung, like any of these characters, they're all good, they're all great. But I do genuinely think it is Onaga's time. He needs to come back. He could be the best, you know, big bad again. I think he already was the best big bad we've ever gotten. But he can just come back and be fucking hot shit again. And I would genuinely very much so enjoy that. But who knows, who knows. I do think that just based off of vibes alone, which I feel like somebody who's on the button who's like the vibes were off or the vibes were good, but I do genuinely think the vibes in this game so far are immaculate, right? The guy that's so fucking cringe. I just think that the vibes are good, and I think that it really is screaming something new and unique. It is not like anything we've seen before. Ed Boon even talked about today earlier in the live stream that for the case, even for the cover art of the game, they've went with a different colorway, right? It's not like a black, white, and gold situation anymore. It's like the blue, it should be here. It is this, it's the blue, like, it screams like serenity and peace, and it's a completely new era for Mortal Kombat. It kind of reminds me of Shaolin Monks a bit. When you go to, I can't remember where they went in Shaolin Monks. Oh man, I genuinely can't remember. There was a place that you could go in Shaolin Monks that kind of had similar vibes to this. It might just be Japan because, again, Mortal Kombat Deception's Conquest mode, the Earth Realm actually is in Japan. So who knows? I want to be able to just explore this, like, reimagined Japan in the Mortal Kombat world. I don't know if they still consider Earthrealm, like this part of Earthrealm, to be Japan anymore. Because obviously we know Earthrealm is Earth, like there's multiple cities and like America fucking exists in the Mortal Kombat world, you know, where's Johnny Cage from, right? It's just interesting to see them showing off so much scenery in this trailer. Okay, but I'm gonna keep going all over the place if I don't stop talking, so let me just lay out my thoughts in like a bullet point style right now. So 1, there seems to be a very big focus on 2 characters at a time, whether this is for tag team or for cameo fighters or for the story mode having 2 main options, a good and evil side. That is a very big focus in this trailer, right? So I do think that's going to be very important for the future. 2, another thing is the scenery. They have a huge focus on the scenery in this trailer. Every shot has beautiful scenery that is imagining places we've seen before in like Mortal Kombat Deception, when we could explore the realms, or places we've seen in stages in like newer Mortal Kombat games like 9X and 11. But you are not just seeing a stage, you are seeing the entire surroundings, right? And why would they need to do that? Hopefully it's for Conquest mode. Hopefully we get to actually explore these things. We get to walk around, talk to NPCs, collect items. We need it, we want it. Ed Boon, please, I know you watch me, you're a big fan, I know. Please, give it to us, we want it, please. We really, really do. 3, another thing to note is that this is a completely new timeline. Characters do not have to be the exact same that they were in the past. If anything, you should expect that they are not going to be the same. I mean, look at this. This is Raiden. Did you know that? Did you know that, my friend? Did you know that this is Raiden? I mean, obviously you probably did, but this is not the same Raiden from the past. And this is not the same Liu Kang from the past. This is not the same Kung Lao from the past. You know what I mean? Like, these are new characters. Another thing to note here is that earlier in the live stream, Ed Boon did say that this is not a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11. Which, thank God, but I mean, we could kind of draw that conclusion ourselves, because Liu Kang does reset the timeline and create his own new timeline, so everything is going to be new, right? But I don't know how far they're going to take that, you know what I mean? Because there comes a certain point where, sure, that character's name is Scorpion, but is their identity Scorpion anymore? Like, is that Hanzo Hasashi? I don't know. I don't think that they're going to take it that far. I don't think NetherRealm really cares to do something like that. But them just taking a whole new spin on these characters is enough, I feel. I feel like that's good, and I think that's new and fresh, and that is going to reap a lot of good benefits and rewards, especially when it comes to like new players, right? New people are going to see these characters, and they can easily fall in love with these new versions of the characters, even if they have no knowledge of the prior versions. Maybe that won't be the case for characters like Kang, where he actually has probably the knowledge and the memory of Mortal Kombat 11, but who knows, right? Who knows? One thing I do want to talk about before we end the video. This Kang thing here that he does to Shang Tsung is probably a fatality. I would be shocked if it doesn't make it into the game in any capacity. But yeah, with that said, that's basically it. I don't think that I should keep going because I will keep rambling forever and just keep going in circles. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you think there's going to be tag team? Do you think that the assist functionality is going to be in like 3 assists, 1 assist, 2 assists? Like, what do you think? Do you think that the game is going to just be one-on-one and then you have 1 assist or something like that? Like, just let me know whatever you think down below. I'm going to keep rambling. Let me know what you guys think about the story. Who do you think the big bad is going to be? Do you think Onaga is returning? Do you think that the timeline is going to be changed again by the end of this game? Please fucking don't do that. Please don't. If Mortal Kombat 2 is another timeline reset, I'm already getting timeline fatigue in this series. And I do think that this is the perfect way to do it. Like the fact that they're completely resetting the timeline and they're like, okay, new characters, new everything, timeline reset. This isn't like Mortal Kombat 11 where the timelines merged and we had to go through the same events twice in the same game. I can't believe that they did that. We had to go through the same events of Mortal Kombat 11 again in the DLC. Anyway, just I hope they don't reset the timeline again. As of right now, this looks extremely promising, and fingers crossed that Shujinko makes it into the game. Cameo character, playable character, I don't care. At least have some type of like, you know, Easter egg in the game for him. Especially if Onaga ends up being the big bad in this game. I feel like it's hard to imagine that Shujinko will not even be hinted at in this game if Onaga does return. But with that said, that's basically it. Ladies, gentlemen, and NB beauties, make sure you guys stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.